Hello, today I'll be presenting an overview of Norway. It is a beautiful country in northern Europe with a very long and rich history, starting from the time of the Vikings. Furthermore, Norway's prosperity is anchored in its energy sector. With exports reaching up to 55% of its GDP, the country has become a powerhouse in the North Sea. By harmonizing free market growth with an environmental stewardship, Norway continues to set the global standard for its sustainable development. Next, Norway is famous for its mountains and deep fjords. The people there love nature. They also follow a tradition called friluftsliv, which means open air living, and they also have a very fair society that cares about equality and a good work-life balance. So for economic performance, Norway is highly resilient. Between 2015 and 2034, the nation successfully navigated global shifts, including the pandemic. While inflation peaked in 2032, Norway's GDP remained strong, supported by an unemployment rate that consistently stayed low, often below 15%.
Next, I would like to go to the topic of utilization of natural resources in Norway. There is two topics we focus, which is land and forest. There is timber products, non-timber products, and livestock animal that being used in Norway. There is stock, production, consumption of natural resources, data that will be attached in the end of the video.
For 2.4, import of natural resource. The highest import is wood and artist list of wood. Number 2 is iron, steel and ore. Number 3, mineral. And the last one is living plant. Okay, for 2.5, export of natural resource. Number 1 is iron. Number 2 is wood. Number 3 is mineral. And number 4 is living plant.
So I will continue for this chapter 3. In chapter 3, I will discuss the issue and challenges of land and natural resources management in Norway. Norway has limited agriculture and highly sensitive ecosystems that are vulnerable to climate change and development. The first issue concerns agriculture subsidy. Nearly 55% of farmers' income in Norway comes from government support. This dependency has reduced innovation and weakened environmental performance, since only a small portion of subsidies is directed toward research and also sustainable practice. The government has increased subsidy by 3.66 billion by 2026 to cover operating costs such as diesel and to support low-income farmers. However, this measure has been critiqued by focusing more on short-term agriculture than on green innovation. Policies such as the Norwegian agricultural policies and also the agricultural climate plan aim to maintain local food production while reducing carbon emission, but their impact depends on how effectively subsidies are channeled into modern technology and also smart practice. The second issue is forest management. Forests in Norway play multiple roles. They provide timber export, act as carbon sink, and serve as habitats for biodiversity. The pressure to increase economic value through logging often conflicts with sustainability goals. The government has stipulated that afforestation rates should not be exceed the natural growth rate of forests. Yet, debates continue over how much forest should be used versus protected. The Natural Diversity Act and Norway's forestry framework emphasize sustainable management, including strict control of logging and also protection of wildlife. To address these challenges, the Norwegian government has implemented several integrated measures. One key step is setting a forest protection of target 10% of the total area, with the annual increase of 50,000 hectares. Logging is completely banned in protected forests, while restoration is carried out through reforestation, which now cover nearly 78% of spruce area. These measures highlight Norway's commitment to balancing timber production with biodiversity protection. In conclusion, land and natural resources management in Norway require a careful balance between economic development and also environmental sustainability. The issue of agriculture, subsidy, and forest management shows that government policy must continuously adapt to climate change and also biodiversity needs. With the measures currently in place, Norway is striving to ensure that long-term sustainability of natural resources for future generations. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the previous presentation. Moving on to the next section, I will discuss the policies related to land and natural resource management in Norway. These policies are designed to balance economic development with environmental sustainability and resource conservation. Norway follows a balanced approach that supports both economic development and environmental conservation. Forests cover about 48% of the country's land area and are managed for timber production as well as carbon sequestration, helping Norway achieve its climate goals under the Paris Agreement. Although agricultural land makes up only around 3.5% of the country, it is protected through zoning regulations to ensure food security, support rural communities, and preserve cultural landscapes. To address the impacts of climate change, Norway promotes adaptive land management practices, particularly in agricultural areas, where environmental conditions are changing. Land use planning, land use planning is also an important policy tool used to control development in coastal and rural regions and reduce environmental pressure. In addition, organizations such as the Norwegian Institute of Bioeconomy Research (NIBIO) help monitor biodiversity, soil quality, and land use changes while supporting innovation in sustainable resource management. In conclusion, Norway's policies focus on sustainability, climate adaptation, biodiversity protection, and the responsible use of natural resources to ensure long-term environmental resilience. Thank you.
I will present about Sustainable Land Management (SLM) and Sustainable Forest Management (SFM) in Norway. Norway is known for its strong commitment to sustainability. Through effective land and forest management practices, the country aims to balance environmental protection, economic development, and social well-being. These strategies help ensure that natural resources remain productive and available for future generations. Sustainable land management refers to the responsible use of land resources while maintaining their long-term productivity and environmental function. In Norway, SLM focus on protecting agricultural land, conserving soil quality, and supporting sustainable farming activities. This is especially important because agricultural land is limited, particularly in northern regions such as Finnmark, Troms, and Nordland. SLM contributes to ecological protection by preventing land degradation and preserving important ecosystem service. It also improves economic productivity by ensuring farmland remains available for agricultural production and food security. However, Norway faces several challenges, including urban expansion, infrastructure development, climate change, and declining population in rural areas. This factor may threaten the long-term sustainability of agricultural land. Moving on to sustainable forest management, forests cover approximately 44% of Norway's total land area, making them one of the country's most valuable natural resources. To ensure sustainability, Norway implements several forest management policies. The Forestry Act requires forest owners to manage forests responsible while considering biodiversity, recreation, and environmental protection. Additionally, the Living Forest Standard promotes sustainable harvesting practices and forest regeneration. This measure helps maintain forest productivity while protecting ecological values. Norway also emphasizes biodiversity conservation through programs such as environmental inventories in forests, which identify and protect areas with high conservation value.
Norway is a good example of how a country can balance economic development and environmental protection. The country manages its forests sustainably by ensuring that the amount of timber harvested is lower than the annual forest growth. This helps preserve forest resources for future generations. In addition, sustainable land and forest management practices help protect biodiversity and also support renewable energy production and contribute to climate change mitigation. Based on Norway's experience, Malaysia can improve its land and forestry management by adopting long-term sustainable forestry policies. Malaysia should also strengthen biodiversity conservation and protect agricultural land from excessive development. Furthermore, integrating forestry into climate change strategies and also encouraging community-based forestry and ecotourism can create more economic opportunities while ensuring environmental sustainability. That's all from us about the utilization and management of land and forestry in Norway. Tack!